Alrighty, guys, welcome back to StatChat Sports. We're here for another AFL preview. If you've clicked on the video, if you've clicked on the podcast, you already know. We're talking about Port Adelaide today, and this is our beloved Taz's team. Tazza, you're the man today. You've done all the research, you've done all the prep. Me and BT are just here to witness you go in depth about your team and try to justify why they're not going to finish ninth. Because as a collective, the StatChat boys think that this team is going to finish ninth. You, of course, very much disagree with that assessment.
Yeah, look, apart from Stephen had them at 8, but you guys don't think they're making the 8 at all. And I look at this list, and I see one hole in defence, but everywhere else, I don't know where you see it's going wrong. Because, I mean, the forward line is stacked. It's looking awesome there. The midfield is coming along beautifully. And maybe the defence has one or two holes, but I reckon there's someone within this squad that's going to fill it. We'll get to that a little bit later. But this list has been together for quite a bit of time now. There's players who are probably firming into this team like Lachie Jones, Miles Bergman, as gaps have opened up. But I think there's nothing wrong with this team. I mean, I had them at a conservative 6th, but I think they can be better than that. Definitely.
Yeah. Far out. This is the definition of a one-eyed supporter right
here. I'm trying to be partial here. I'm trying to be.
All right. Well,
I'm trying to keep a level head. It's a good team.
Look, I'll give you this, Tazza. We've got the best 22 on the screen in front of us here. I'm looking through the best 22. It's not a bad best 22. I'm not going to lie. And like you said, this team, they've been there or thereabouts, probably the last 3 or 4 years. The reason I had this team finishing in 9th is not because I don't think they've got a good squad, because they do have a good squad. They've got a shit-house coach, mate.
Yes.
They've got an absolutely diabolical coach. And that is why this team is not going anywhere this year, Tazza.
Well, maybe when Josh Carr takes over next year, we can we'll bump him up a few spots, because that is what's going to happen. Look, the writing's on the wall. But yeah, we're talking about 2023, and Hinkley isn't the man. I think he got the record during the year last season. He is now the most unsuccessful coach based on tenure. Essentially, this is his 11th season. He's never made a grand final. No one's lasted this long without doing it. So this is his last hurrah. It's grand final or a premiership or bust. That's as good as he's going to get.
Well, that was going to be my question for you, BT. What does Ken Hinkley have to do this year to save his job? Because I remember sitting on this podcast this time last year, previewing Port Adelaide, and we thought it was all doom and gloom for Ken then.
I think they have to push a prelim. I think it has to go that far for him to keep his job. And I can't see that happening. Not even close. I don't give him a something. I don't give him a sniff at all. Not like there. I think we got this whole ladder wrong. I think I'll put them too high. I think they're worse than 9th.
Oh, no.
Worse than 9th.
I think you're being a bit harsh there, BT, because I think this is a fringe finals team. And I think this is I think this is a reasonably sort of even middle clump of teams, similar to what it was last year. But I think there's probably a good 11, maybe 12 teams that can push finals this year. And to say Port Adelaide is not one of those teams, I think is disrespectful and flat out incorrect, mate.
Nah, I'm backing myself in here. They're closer to bottom 4 than they are to top 4.
Oh, wow.
I don't rate this team on paper. I do not rate this team.
Why?
I think this forward line I reckon it's overrated, this forward line. Charlie Dixon is a spud. Todd Marshall,
I agree.
Up and coming. Todd Marshall, I'll give him that. He had a very good year last year.
We love Toddy.
Outside that, I reckon the Horn Francis shit. I reckon he's overrated. He's had one season for us to look at, and I don't think he's going to do anything this year. Rioli, who cares about him being an Eagles supporter? Hopefully he breaks his leg.
There's so much salt there.
The only player I'll give you, who's your match winner, and I think he's going to have an outstanding year, is Connor Rozee.
Brownlow Smoky.
It's not a bad
now you're
shout.
pushing
it. Win enough
No,
games.
it's not
No,
a
you're
bad
pushing it.
shout because he was very good last year. He came
he was.
home like a house on fire.
And he's gonna be playing that full-time midfield role, you'll think, and he knows how to find the goals. So I'll give you that one. Outside of that, not giving you anything, mate.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this podcast already. If you're watching this and you're a Port Adelaide fan, hit the comments up right now. This is terrific stuff. I know that there's going to be some people getting roasted on this chat, and that's what we want to see. Tazza, let's get a little bit more back to normal. Let's go straight down the line as we normally would do with our regular segments here in our preview videos. We're looking for an All-Australian chance, and you're not allowed to pick Connor Rozee. I don't know if he was the guy that you prepped, but you are not allowed to pick this man because that's too easy for you.
He was the man that I picked. But look, this side's that good enough that it's not hard to find someone else. It's quite easy for me to look at this team and look, I'm going to go straight down the guts, and I'm taking Aliir at centre half-back.
Ooh, yeah.
I think with a good pre-season, which he's had, he's been pretty solid. There's no reason why he can't. He probably needs to be a little bit more accountable one-on-one. He can get found out in his one-on-one matchups a little bit, but his intercept work is as good as anyone in the league. I'd say he's on par with Tom Stewart on his day. His intercept work is top of the league. So there's no reason why he can't be there.
If they can get him loose, I can see that. And you'd think that Jonas and Cleary can hold it down. But if he gets some injuries during the year and he's got to play one-on-one, does limit him a bit. But I don't mind the call. Not going to lie, Taz, a little bit disappointed that you didn't go with your boy Toddy.
I think there's too many other good key forwards. I mean, he's good, but I honestly don't believe he's enough to be. He's not enough of a weapon. He's not going to kick 50 plus.
What are you talking about? Is this not the man that you said would kick 50? Was it last year or this year? I can't remember. BT.
I said Georgiades would kick 50 last year. Then Marshall come out of nowhere. He was man to the pump.
That was a terrible call.
Marshall
has to kick 50 for them to make finals.
And minimum. So BT, you don't think he will?
No, not even close. He's a 35 to 40.
The thing I like about Toddy, Tazza, and you'd probably agree, is he's got the big frame. He's got the long arms, and that is the way that I see key forwards going over the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and he's got a good lead on him too. He knows where to lead. His leading was so much better last year. His separation from and not getting caught under the ball, and that was a part of the midfield. Probably their delivery was a lot better because Port have been known for just shoveling under the ball and just bombing it into the 50. But they lowered their eyes a little bit last year, and it did get a bit better. But yeah, I think Dixon and Georgiades just need to share the load, and both of them are capable of doing it. So I'm not saying they're all Australian forwards because I don't think either of them are going to make it. But I think they're all, if they can all fire, they're 3 good targets down there.
All right, fair enough. I'll take it easy on you. I won't go any harder.
BT's he's killing me, so at least I got some support.
I can't speak for BT, but now I want a player, Tazza, that's going to break out this year. I'm looking for a Port player that's just going to really step up, really just take the competition by storm. And again, you can't pick Connor Rozee. I'm not letting you.
Look, I'm going deep into this squad for this one, and I'm not saying he's not going to take the competition by storm, but I think he's going to plug a hole in this team that has been pretty awful for a while. There's been a lot of rotation in their key position defence. I'm looking at Jake Piscini.
So this is a deep dive. This is a very deep dive.
So round 8 last year, he was essentially told by Hinkley before he did the ACL that week that he was going to make his debut. They really like this guy. He's 22. He's come from WA. He's been in the system for a few years now. Obviously did his ACL round 9 last year. And from all accounts, he has been ticking every box in pre-season.
Wow.
And Ken wants him. So Ken wants him in the team. So I reckon they've bounced around Trent McKenzie. They've bounced around Tom Cleary. I wouldn't be surprised if Piscini's there round 1.
Well, that's a big call.
yeah, they really want him in there. And I mean, they offered him a contract. I think it was that same week. He did the ACL, the contract, and essentially signed the contract as soon as he could. They kept the faith after he did the ACL, kept the contract on the table. He took it. So they want this guy on the team. If that's not a show of faith, I don't know what is. So
And this is a rookie listed player.
Yeah. So he stands at 192, which is Port Adelaide's defence is all kind of in that 190 to 193. They're all about the same. But he's put on a bit of bulk. He's at 93 kilos at the moment. So he's a bigger bodied boy, and that's what they need. Cleary, he really can get muscled out a fair bit. So I definitely see Piscini, if not straight away, he will take that role, and I think he'll do well.
I do love a good deep dive as a breakout player. And as you like to say, Tazza, Cleary well and truly on the wrong side of 25. He's 29, and as you say, the young man could come in and pick him at the post. And yeah, I like it, BT. BT, have you got any idea who this bloke is?
I have no idea who you're talking about. No clue. No.
Because you're just not looking hard enough, mate.
No, I just don't want to waste my time on a shitty team like this. I'd rather look at a good quality team like North Melbourne. These guys have our back here at StatChat Sports. I'm not going to waste my time here at a Port Adelaide team.
The amount of sucking up that you're doing right now is incredible. You're playing to the fans, and look, someone's got to do it, but it ain't going to be me.
Hey, if Port Adelaide wants to get BT's attention, fans, get in the comments, give this video some love, because I tell you what, our North Melbourne preview has just blown up on YouTube, on Reddit. It's going off. The fans are getting amongst it. So Port fans, get in the comments right now. Tell us how much of a dickhead BT is. We want to hear it. Now, Tazza, last segment from you. We're looking for one player that is under the pump. They need a big year. They need a lift. It could be for whatever reason you can think of. You can go as broad as you like, but we just want one guy.
So I had two here. I will mention both, but I will go into depth about one. So Darcy Byrne-Jones, he's a member of the leadership group.
Is he really?
Yeah. So it's Tom Jonas, and I'm pretty sure it's Wines and Darcy Byrne-Jones. It's a three-man leadership group. A lot of fans, I think, have been calling for maybe him to be dropped. Maybe that's what he needed to just focus on his game and not so much the leadership role of everything. But he was bang average last year, and he turned the ball over a hell of a lot. It was frustrating to watch. So he really needs to clean up his disposal. But the guy I really think needs a big year is Xavier Dersma. So Carl Amon's left. There's a spot on the wing right there for him. I'm not sure it's his either. I mean, they've got big raps on him, but it looks like Miles Bergen's probably going to be that guy that's going to take it instead. So he really needs to really knuckle down. We need to see a lot from him, match him, and the intra clubs and all of that. The recent intra club, Bergman was the guy, from all accounts. But Dersma really needs to step it up, because I think this is he was in the same draft year as Rozee and Butters.
Yeah.
And those two are streets ahead at the moment. Rosee's an All-Australian. Zach Butters on his day isn't far behind. And Dersma's languishing really in the twos. There's a role there for him. He needs to be able to take it. He needs to take it with both hands.
I think it's a good shout. And there was a lot of talk in the off-season that Dersma might have been on the way out, potentially trade bait, could have factored in as part of the super trade. So I do like that call. And certainly for the man with the bow and arrow, he needs a lift. And as for that wing role, there's a number of guys at Port that could take that role. I mean, Lockie Jones as well. He's another one that I think he needs a bit of a big season as well, because he's not established by any means. And I think he's a former first-round pick, Tazza.
Yeah, he's been blighted by injury a fair bit. So that's been his undoing more often than not. But I think he's been spending a little bit of time in the middle as well. So they want to see him get some midfield minutes. Everywhere I look with this team, we've barely spoken about Fantasia, who's, when he gets his body right, which is a big thing, there's a lot to expect from him. Josh Sin, obviously not in a wing role, but Josh Sin, he's a former, I think it was last year, he was a top 20 pick.
Top 10,
he's someone who could really, he's got a lot of dash, so he's like a halfback wing. If he can get his disposal better. Kane Farrell is another guy who could probably play out there.
Yeah,
he's got a nice left foot there. I've waxed lyrical about his left foot, and I've been absolutely
apparently the best kick in the competition. That's one of the worst calls I've ever heard. One of the worst calls.
Oh, that's all right. You'll get a chance to see it again, and you'll see why I do think that way. But yeah, he's another guy who I think probably in a breakout player category, because I think they do like him there. But yeah, look, this team is, in conclusion, I think there's a lot of guys that can really force their way into this team. It's deep, but it may lack the A-grade talent that the top teams have in spades.
I think they've got A-grade talent. I just think they need to put it all
together. All around the park.
Yeah, so it is an interesting team. On Fantasia, my call, he's not on the list at the end of next year. I think he plays less than 5 games, and I think a guy like Jace Burgoyne, he's going to come in and take his spot. Even Francis Evans, I think there's youth there in Fantasia. I think his time's past him, but I think there's a few guys definitely under the pump, and none more so than Ken. BT, as I said, we discussed this. Overweight coaches, very much under the pump in the AFL. Ken Hinkley was certainly identified as one of those. It's going to be a big year for Big Ken.
If he cuts out the Coke Zeros, they might win some games.
There you go. You heard it here first.
We've said it so many times.
No Coke Zeros if you can, and Port Adelaide makes finals. That's the conclusion. I like this one, Tazza. You've done well. We've put you up to a real grilling. I think you've stood the test and you've done a terrific job. If you are a Port Adelaide fan and you're watching this, let us know in the comments below. We've had a bit of fun with it. We hope you had a bit of fun watching it as well. Season previews for every AFL team every 2 days. The next one you'll see is a finals contender, in our opinion. They're going to be our 8th ranked team. You'll see it in 2 days' time. Make sure you subscribe to see all of our videos for the whole season, and you'll get it here first. Aside from that, we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.